guys, welcome to A Little Bit of Monica. I'm Monica and today we are doing a long-awaited book haul. So for the month of November, I feel like I have accumulated so many new books and I'm really excited to share what those are. I have like multiple stacks on the floor sitting next to me, so I am really excited to get into this. We'll start off at the beginning of the month. Anyone who has followed any of the Fourth Wing and Iron Flame excitement knows that Iron Flame came out on November 7th, and I went to one of the Barnes & Noble midnight release parties, so I was able to pick up one of the brand new copies of Iron Flame with the sprayed edges. I was super excited because this was a highly anticipated release, and on the same day they also released the special holiday edition of Fourth Wing, so I was able to pick this up as well with the sprayed edges. So I have both of these new books that I was very excited for. Also that same day, because we were in Barnes & Noble for like 3 hours just wandering around, we had to get there at like 9 o'clock in order to like get the tickets so that we would be able to check out and make sure that we got a copy of the book. Turns out we didn't really need to get there that early because they had more than enough copies for everyone who was there and then some. So there was no worry, but we got there so early and we had 3 hours to kill until midnight when we could actually buy the book. So we were just wandering around the store doing their activities, and I picked up a couple other books while I was there. The first one is The Hurricane Wars by Thea Guanzin. I am very excited for this book because I love all things that have to do with storms and weather. And first of all, the cover is beautiful and I love that, but also just the plot in general. I actually don't know a whole lot about it other than it seems like magic that has to do with weather or storms, hurricanes of some sort. So I am very excited for this. I have heard like a lot of really vaguely good things about it, but I don't actually know of too many people's like personal reviews of reading it, so I'm excited to get to that at some point. The second book that I bought that was not related to the Fourth Wing or Iron Flame was The Reformatory by Tanana Reeve Dew. I am very excited about this book. I actually just got the audio on hold a couple days ago, so I'll be reading this pretty soon. And I have not read from this author before, but I know she is like an icon in the horror community. And I have a short story collection of hers as well, and I just haven't gotten to it yet. But I'm very excited for this. I believe it is like haunted house kind of vibe, which I think is probably her specialty of some sort. I have heard good things about this one from people who have read it already, so I am very eager to get into that, and I will be shortly because I have the audio for a couple of weeks before it expires. Next up is just a bunch of books that I bought for myself because November is my birthday month and I like to spoil myself a little bit more than normal, which is very evident in all the books that I'm hauling here. Last year I bought a number of books from Book Outlet when they have their like $5.99 sale, and I did the same thing again this year, so I have a lot of books from there. The first one that I'm gonna show, I did not get from the Book Outlet sale, but I did get the new Darcy Coates. This is a YA horror, Where He Can't Find You. I don't know a whole lot about this. Abby Ward lives in a town haunted by disappearances. People vanish, and when they're found, their bodies have been dismembered and sewn back together in unnatural ways. But is it the work of a human killer or something far darker? Darcy Coates Has Never Let Me Down. Despite this being a YA horror, I believe it's her YA debut even, I have heard great things, so I'm very excited to get into this one because I love all things Darcy Coates. Now we're into the Book Outlet haul, which is quite extensive, so I'm gonna go kind of quickly through them and we'll see where we go. First up is Six Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim. This one was recommended to me by a friend of mine, so I am very excited to try this out. This is YA fantasy and I don't really know a whole lot about it. It sounds like forbidden magic. She is, maybe like an arranged marriage, something along those lines, and there's a curse that has to be broken, something about seizing the throne. I don't know, a whole lot going on. Actually, the person that recommended this to me said that this is like one of her very favorite books that she's ever read, and so I am very eager to get into this. I haven't heard too many like varied opinions, but I take personal recommendations very seriously, and I remember her telling me specifically that I should read this, so I'm going to do that. So that is the first one I got. Next up, these are in no order at all. I am literally just picking them off the stack. So the next one is a rom-com called Play For Me by Libby Hubsher. I think that's how you pronounce her last name. I'm not really sure. This is about a woman who takes a job at a New England boarding school, and her roommates, the only places she can find available to live is with 3 male roommates, giving you know, new girl vibes, I guess. It sounds like she is going to be the very athletic kind, and one of the roommates is helping to direct the play at the school. And I am a sucker for anything that has to do with musicals, plays, music in general. So this sounded really cute, and I don't really know of anybody who read this or anybody who has thoughts on it, but I'm really excited for it. I also just love finding a new cute rom-com, so I'm excited for this, even though I don't have too many expectations. The next one on my list is Well Traveled by Jen DeLuca. I devoured Well Met, which is the first in this series. I devoured it in one day, which is pretty impressive for me. I just absolutely loved it. It is a rom-com that's set in like a Renaissance fair, or with people who are working at a Renaissance fair. For anyone who doesn't know, I worked at a Renaissance fair previously, and so they are just very near and dear to my heart, and I still have a lot of really close friends who do Renaissance fair work, and I attend regularly, and I've traveled to go to Renaissance fairs, so it's just like a really big part of my life. And Well Met was so good. I immediately went and bought the sequels, but I was missing the very last one, which is Well Traveled. So now I have the complete 4-book set. Unfortunately, I have still only read the first one. Like, I haven't actually read the sequels yet, but I'm really excited for the sequels. And even though I haven't read them all, I also ordered the, I think it was Afterlight from Illumicrate. I ordered the like Afterlight exclusive set that's gonna be so pretty, and I'm very excited for them, but they don't come out for like a couple months. Anyway, I'm still excited, and I'm glad that I now have the full set so I can actually read them before I get the really expensive set that I spent a lot of money on. So I'm excited for this one. The next one is To Have and to Heist by Sarah Desai. This one I also don't know a whole lot about. To exonerate her best friend, one woman must mastermind a jewelry heist during the wedding of the season in this hilarious romantic comedy caper. That sounds pretty interesting. I love a good heist. Like, I am a sucker for a good heist. And it's not usually in this type of a setting, so that's kind of why I'm extra intrigued by this. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't heard like the best reviews of this. I do feel like I've heard a lot of middle of the road types of thoughts, but that's okay because I'm just in it for a good time, and I'm excited to see how that one will go. The next one on the list is How to Survive Your Murder by Danielle Valentine. Now, some might say that I am foolish for buying this off of Book Outlet for $5.99 when I could have bought it when I met her twice earlier this year, and I didn't get it either time because I could have had this signed the last time I saw her, which was like just back in October, I think. So yeah, I definitely should have probably paid a little bit more attention to that, but it's fine because I have it now, and this is her YA novel, which is interesting because I have read Delicate Condition, which is very much an adult novel, and I really liked Delicate Condition, so I'm eager to see what this one is going to be. The back does not give you a whole lot. It just says rule number 1, never go into the corn maze alone. Rule number 2, nothing good happens on Halloween. Rule number 3, never be distracted by a hot bad boy. And rule number 4, don't die this time. Without having much context for what that's going to mean, I'm very excited. The first sentence in the actual description does say Alice Lawrence is the sole witness in her sister's murder trial. That sounds like a good start to me. Knowing nothing about this going in, I am excited to try it out at some point, and for like a very cheap price, I could not pass it up. The next book on the list is Pinata by Leopoldo Gout. I think I'm saying that right. This book, once again, I buy things without having any clue what they're about, but I know a lot of people who have read this and a lot of people who have really liked it. I also think I know some people who didn't like it particularly well, so I guess I'm going to be giving my own perspective on this. I'm very excited to give this a try because, again, if someone says that they liked it, I take those reviews very personally, and I will immediately try to read it. So that's all I got for that one. The next one, actually the next two that I'm going to talk about, I've never heard of before, have no idea why I picked them up. Well, actually, I know why I picked up Wrath by Sharon Moalem and Daniel Kraus. I think I said those names correctly. Wrath sounded really intriguing, and the cover is horrifying. The rat. Okay, so these are about genetically enhanced animals. Well, a genetically enhanced rat who gets so smart that he begins to concoct a plan on how to stop the torture and like basically experimentation on other animals. Sounds super intriguing, and I remember when I saw this online, because I was just, browsing through their like long list of books, and it looked interesting. I read the description and immediately added it to my cart. Like I had no hesitation whatsoever, and that might come to bite me in the butt, but that's fine. Also, I really, really like the end pages on this, so I'll just like open it up. It's just a very busy like image of a bunch of rats, which is kind of terrifying, and then little like keyboard thing sideways. So I really like this, and oh, there's even like a little image on the hardcover portion. So this is a very interesting looking book, and I am nothing if not interested in randomly intriguing books, and apparently about rats. So we'll see how that goes. It's more like the genetically enhanced like scientific testing thing that is going to be very interesting for this one. The next book on my list is A Broken Blade by Melissa Blair. This is part of the Halfling saga. I have no idea what that means. Kira is a killer. As the king's blade, she is the most talented spy in the kingdom and the king's favored assassin. When a mysterious figure moves against the crown, Kira is called upon to hunt down the so-called shadow. I love a good fantasy, and I haven't really actually heard anything about this, so I'm excited to go into it and see if I can find a new favorite fantasy. The next book on the list is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. I know a lot of people have been reading this and really liking it, and I don't know, I think there was a sequel, maybe it's not connected. I think it's a sequel that just came out recently. I don't have that one, but this is a high fantasy. Once again, I know nothing about it other than it looks like someone's in a coffee shop or a bakery or something along those lines, and you know what? I am nothing if I am not ready to jump on the bandwagon of just reading books because other people are reading them and think that they are good, and I will try it for myself and then let you know what I think. Okay, the next two books on my list. The first one I did get from Book Outlet, and the second one I did not, but I will fill you in on that. So the first one I got is Light Lark by Alex Astor, and I have heard so many controversial things about this that I have only one choice, and that is to read it for myself and make my own opinions about this book. So this is a fantasy romance, and Alex Astor has been doing a lot of like promotion for the sequel that just came out, which I also got recently, which is Nightbane, and this one was a birthday gift, which I will get into in a second. But essentially there's a lot of controversy about these books because a lot of people are saying that they weren't written well. Obviously I haven't read, so I cannot, support or reject that opinion, but I've heard that it was not written well. However, she was just picked up, I believe, for like movie rights or something, and she's been talking about that a lot, about how it was picked up to be adapted, and that makes me very interested in trying to figure out what the craze is about. Like, some people are diehard fans of this, and other people are saying it's like the worst writing and they can't believe that it has gotten so popular. Obviously, all books are going to have people who love it and hate it, and that's completely fine. When I ordered this, I was hearing really good things. I think at this point, I've actually heard more bad things than I have good, and I don't know of anyone who has personally read this and had anything like crazy to say. So I'm going to be reading it for myself at some point, and I will be able to formulate my own opinions on whether or not I think the writing is bad or if it's just fine. I mean, not everybody has to be like super poetic in their writing. It just might be her writing style that does not fit for some people. And I am ready to read and give my own feedback on that. I did also get the sequel. This one was on my wish list because I had ordered Light Lark earlier in the month. Then I added Nightbane to my wish list. And this, along with The Things We Leave Unfinished by Rebecca Yarros, which I did read over this summer and absolutely loved. Like, I cried multiple times reading this, which was kind of shocking. But these two books, I want to give a shout out and a thank you to Michelle from Michelle's Library. These showed up at my house as a surprise for my birthday, and I love Michelle, and I love that she bought these for me. Her message had said like she knew I loved this book because she read it before I did, actually, and she told me that I should read this, so I did. And I was giving her like play-by-play updates as I was laughing, crying, screaming. Like, I sent so many all caps messages to her as I was getting to like really important parts in this book, and so she knows how much I loved this because she loved it as well. And then this one, in the note, she had mentioned like, I know nothing about this, but I hope that you love it as much as you loved the other one. So these two books, I want to give a huge thank you to Michelle for sending them to me for my birthday, and I'm very excited again to give this duology. I actually don't know if there's supposed to be any more after this, but I do know this is the sequel to Lightlark, so I'm excited to give those a shot, and I am also really excited to add this to my shelf as a trophy. I think I borrowed the library copy when I read it the first time, and I just really, really loved this. I am not like a military romance person because I've read other Rebecca Yarros books and I did not like them. Well, actually, there was just one in particular that I really didn't like, and I think it was her newest one. But anyway, this one I really, really loved. It had a very like deep, sentimental, I don't know, like an emotional element to it that just had me actually crying. And I remember taking this book with me on my family camping trip, and I read it in my hammock, and like I was pulling the edges of the hammock up so my sisters on either side of me would not see that I was crying while reading this, because it was so cute and happy and sad and like every single emotion ever. So I'm very excited to add that to my collection. And I did have one more book that I got for my birthday. This was a gift from my sister. I also read The Jasad Heir over the summer, which I also borrowed a copy from the library the first time I read it, and I really, really liked it. This is The Jasad Heir by Sarah Hashem, and this book, it is I think it's YA fantasy romance, and it is the first in a series. I believe it's her debut. It's at least her genre debut, and I am very, very happy with how this book turned out. It is a very slow burn romance, I found, but I actually really appreciated that. This book it was very immersive. I think that it was a very well-built book. It is based off of like an Egyptian inspired epic fantasy, and honestly, like, I just had such a good time with it. I think I gave this 4 stars. It was not the type that like sucked me in and had me never wanting to leave the world, but it was one that like I finished it and thoroughly enjoyed it, and I would absolutely reread this book in preparation for the next one coming out, which, as far as I know, I'm not even sure that there is like a release for the sequel yet, which is kind of sad because I was really excited to keep going when I finished this, and now I just have to wait for the news of the sequel. But I really enjoy this book so much that I put it on my wish list, so I was able to have the physical copy added to my shelf after reading the library copy originally. Finally, we come to the portion of my haul that is specifically made up of special edition books that I have collected throughout the month, which is actually more than I anticipated it being, but I am super excited for all of these books. I will start off with my first one. Is one that I actually got at the end of October, and it was the book for the Evernight book box subscription, and I am still just so obsessed with this book that like it is so beautiful. It is The Last to Leave the Room by Caitlin Starling, and this book is just everything physically, like the the edges, the back, even the end pages, absolutely stunning. I am obsessed with this book physically, the way it looks, but I have not read it yet. So I'm excited to get into this at some point. Hopefully I can read it soon. I know a couple other people who have been getting to this recently, so I do definitely want to add this to my TBR coming up, whether that'll be December or not, but I am very excited for this book. I just love how pretty it is. So that was the first one that I received out of all of these books. The next one that I'll show you has a reversible dust jacket, and I have it on the reversed side because I thought it was so pretty. So this one is Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood, and I love this book so very much. Like, I cannot express to you how much I love this book. I also have the traditionally published copy. I had pre-ordered it through, I forget what the bookstore is called, that she, like, Ali Hazelwood does pre-orders through this bookstore in Texas, and like she will sign them. So I have a signed copy, but I gave it to my sister to borrow, so I don't have it physically with me right now. But I am simply obsessed with this book. This is a YA romance. about a chess whiz, actually 2 chess whizzes. And I am just obsessed with this. This book itself is beautiful. I mean, the edges, I just love it. The fact that I love this book, like the actual content of this book so much, and the fact that I have this beautiful cover of it is just like, it's just incredible. The hardback inside of the dust jacket is also really pretty. It has this nice little pattern and it says, "I see the way you look at the pieces. It's your world, isn't it? The one you choose for yourself, well within your boundaries. You can be the queen in it, the king, the knight, whatever you want." It's so pretty. I'm obsessed with this book. And the inside, like, this is the way that the cover came, with like the traditional like image for the cover. But I am obsessed with this cover. It also matches because I have like a bunch of other Ali Hazelwood books on my shelf, and I also got the Afterlight exclusive set that has like matching, like this style matching dust jackets for the 3 like STEMinist novels, Love Hypothesis, Love on the Brain, and Love Theoretically. Like, they're so pretty, and I could not pass up putting this cover on this book because I love it too much. Also from Afterlight, I did get the new copy of Do Your Worst by Rosie Danan. I have not read this book yet. It is on my buddy read list with Michelle, so we will be getting to it eventually. I'm not quite sure when that'll be, but actually I think it might be coming up pretty soon. We were playing around with like audiobooks and stuff like that, so I'm not sure when we'll get to this, but I'm very excited. This book is also absolutely beautiful. The edges, spectacular. This is a supernatural romance, which I am very excited for because, hello, supernatural romance. That's all that needs to be said about that. So this is one that I got towards the end of the month that it showed up at my house. I think I got Check and Mate first, and then Do Your Worst came like a couple days later. I have been getting Illumicrate boxes on like a rotation over the last 2 weeks or so, which has been very entertaining, and probably the like mail delivery people hate me, but it's fine. The next 2 books I will preface with, these literally showed up at my house in the last couple of days of November. First one is the Afterlight book. This I opened quite literally when I'm filming this. I opened it yesterday, so it's very new to me. I don't know much about this book at all, but it is beautiful. It is called Second Chances in Newport Stephen by TJ Alexander. And the book came with like a cute little note from the author, like explaining some things about like the area that this is from. I think it's like South Florida, I believe. I do not know geography very well, but I am really excited. This book sounds super cute, and the cover is just absolutely breathtaking. And the hardcover of the book has images of manatees on it. Manatees are a theme of some sort in this book. I don't actually know to what degree they are a part of the story, but manatees must be important. Anyway, this book is simply breathtaking. The edge, super cute. I do not know very much about this, but I read the description when I opened the box, and it sounded really interesting. Eli moves back to his hometown and runs into his high school ex, Nick, who's somehow hotter than ever. So it's gonna be, I mean, second chance romance. I'm not huge on second chance trope, but I will give this a shot. Obviously, it's beautiful and it sounds really cute, so I am really excited to try this one out. And now finally I come to the final book that I am beyond excited to show. Once again, I haven't read this. I also don't know a whole lot about it, but I do know at least like the vibe that the book is giving, and I already have a copy of it on my shelf. So this is my second copy, and it is one of the most beautiful books I've ever seen in my entire life. So I'm very excited to show it to you. This is the Illumicrate. It's like the fantasy subscription box. So this is the book for November that came, and I'm literally so excited. It is Starling House by Alex E. Harrow. I met this author a while back at a local author event, book festival, and so I have a signed copy of Starling House, like the traditional hardback print of it, and then this came, and I am obsessed with it. First of all, it's beautiful. Like, in general, this looks very, very similar to the original, like, cover. The edges, so pretty. They're so pretty. And then you open it and there is a beautiful end page design. But the best part of this is when you take off the dust jacket, because it's a clear dust jacket, which I love. I'm obsessed with it. And even just like slowly taking off the cover. This book, the hardback copy, it's just, I'm speechless. Look at it. Look at it. It's so pretty. It has little like metallic, like glowy dots that like shine in the light. It's like fireflies. It's so cute. It's so beautiful and dark. And I am like obsessed with the fact that the spine has nothing on it. Like the actual hardback spine has nothing on it, which is like very abnormal. So you literally have to have the like plastic covering. But here's the back. I like can't get over how beautiful this is. And it's so hard because I want to display it on my shelf, but like I feel like the beauty of this part kind of gets overshadowed by the busyness of like the main. So part of me wants to leave off the plastic cover and just have it on my shelf like this because of how pretty this is. I have not decided yet how I'm going to fully display this yet, but it's so pretty and I can't get over it. And I have not read this, but it is a like gothic, supernaturally fantasy, and I have heard so many good things about it. My sister, who I mentioned before, like we have very similar taste in books a lot of time. I mean, we definitely have some differences, but like she kind of knows what I'm going to like, and she loved this book, like full 5 stars, and she's obsessed with this book. And I have not read it yet, but I am so excited because that gives me really high hopes. I have absolutely zero regrets of signing up for these book subscription boxes, even though I am going broke. It is worth it because these books are everything and I just love them so much. So those are all of my many books that I have received in the mail or purchased in person over the last month-ish. It's a lot more going through them than I thought it would be, but I am really excited for a lot of these. And I just really love going into books. I mean, when I go to pick up the book, I usually will read the description, but I really enjoy not really knowing anything about a book and just going in because someone told me it would be good, or because like it's giving me a vibe that sounds like something I would like. And you know, sometimes I'm successful, sometimes I'm not. I had a really, really horrible reading experience recently, where it was a book I thought I would be into, and I DNF'd it at 15, not even 15%. So, you know, it just depends, and that's all part of the journey. So I'm excited to get to a lot of these books. Hopefully some of them I'll get to soon, but regardless, they're going to live on my shelves now. I'm very excited to be able to put them in. So that is everything. Please let me know if you also received any of these special editions or what you think of them. Let me know if you have read any of these books, especially the ones I have not read yet. I would love to hear other people's opinions, whether you liked it or not. Even if you didn't like it, I would love to know, because that'll give me something, you know, some sort of an expectation going into it. I do tend to go into books, even if I know someone did not like it, I still go into it hoping for the best for myself. So I would love to know your thoughts, and let me know if any of these books also sounded interested to you, because I am, like I said, very excited to get to some of these. And there's way too many to read like right away, but I'm excited to have a spread for a very long time of new books that I can get to. Thank you so much for watching my book haul today, and I hope to see you for the next one. Bye!